Budget surplus draws lawmakers back to Boise. I've got the latest from the State House on today's special session on tax relief.
Plus, Idaho back in the national spotlight as Micron announces a new $15 billion investment in Boise. Everything you need to know about the new facility and how it could impact our valley.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Scott Rovell. Coming up next to my Idaho News 6 weather forecast, the smoke really rolling in last night. We'll track that, plus temperatures on the rise. And we'll look at my weekend forecasts coming up next.
This is Idaho News 6.
It's officially happening. After months of speculation, Micron Technology today announcing plans to build a $15 billion manufacturing plant in Boise. Thanks for joining Idaho News 6 tonight. I'm Karen Lair. We have team coverage as we talk with the White House, state leaders, and local people to capture the wide-ranging impacts of the Idaho plan and how we got here. But first, to the announcement itself. The project will be the first new memory fab in the United States in 2 decades. Here's a look at the initial mock-up. The company says the facility will create roughly 17,000 new American jobs, including 2,000 at Micron. The announcement comes in the wake of the $280 billion federal CHIPS Act designed to bring manufacturing back to America with the goal of improving domestic security, easing supply chain shortages, and ensuring America remains a global technology leader. I spoke with the White House today about the Micron announcement and how it will impact you.
It is investing in our supply chains to make these very tiny semiconductor chips that we use in our dishwashers, our computers, our cars, and creating more of them is actually going to lower the price of those items.
The chip maker also crediting Idaho incentives and support from Governor Little and Boise Mayor Lauren McLean. Micron currently employs more than 6,000 people at its Boise headquarters. Company leaders say they plan to invest $150 billion globally in R&D and manufacturing over the next 10 years. Governor Little praising the Micron announcement, writing in a statement, "It's wonderful to see an Idaho company succeed," and attributing the expansion to Idaho's business-friendly climate. Mayor McLean also praising Micron's plans, calling this a once-in-a-generation investment in Boise and committing to ensure the City of Trees is a place that can attract and sustain a diverse, dynamic workforce. The new jobs could boost interest in East Boise and even Mountain Home. Our Brendan Jones looks into what it might mean for the east end of the valley.
Yeah, I'm in the eastern neighborhood of Boise where houses like this are being built here and even further east to kind of help with that population growth. With companies like Micron moving in, this is going to be a trend. I talked to a couple business owners around the neighborhood and around the area to see what the population growth has meant to them.
Micron's expansion could have a big impact on housing demand.
Real estate has gone up and down with Micron as Micron's done well. And we've got Micron employees all over the area. They live in Eagle, Southeast Boise, Northeast Boise. So it's not just the east side of Boise that will be affected from this really great news. I think it's good for all of us.
As Micron has grown, so has eastern Boise. Business owners say they felt the change.
When it was originally built, this was the only street, and besides that it was all farmland pretty much, and so it's grown. It's been crazy. It's been really great though. I've seen lots of new houses come in. There's like parks over there. It's just really, really pretty.
Growth brings new customers, but also new people with different ideas. That's something Barnes is excited about.
We've definitely gotten busier. We've got some really great clientele, people moving in every single day, and everybody seems to be really friendly and really welcoming to our store. And I mean, it's fun. How can you not have fun here? I feel like we need to be open to all this growth. It's bringing in a lot of diversity. It's bringing in a lot of new culture, new art, new music. And so I'm personally excited about it.
Ward says investments like these help build a stronger community.
So the more we can offer, bring great companies in or help companies grow here, it's going to help young people stay.
Brendan Jones, Idaho News 6.
New employees add to the need for quality, affordable child care. It's a topic we've been following for you and one that remains a challenge for local families. Micron sharing a plan to help its own growing employee population with a new world-class child care facility to be operated by local partners at the Treasure Valley Family YMCA. It will be located right next to Micron headquarters, allowing families to stay close to their kids during the day and ease that transition for parents re-entering the workforce. But What about everyone else? Well, as we've previously reported, the city of Boise recently announced a new incentive program for local child care providers.
The city of Boise is really unique in allocating $10.2 million going directly into the community.
2,000 child care providers and workers licensed in Boise were eligible to apply for a one-time payment of $1,500. Those applications did close just last night, and qualified recipients should begin receiving checks next month. The program funded with money from the city that they received from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act. Micron has long been a major sponsor of education in Idaho, working to improve opportunities and develop a pipeline of homegrown STEM talent. The company now promising additional support. Our Jake Garcia looks at what it could mean for everyone, from K through 12 districts to new investments in local universities.
Micron's investment into area education is nothing new, but today's announcement will have a major effect on classrooms across the Treasure Valley.
We're so excited to be able to help and train all the employees that will be needed for that new facility.
Micron also announced a new partnership between the company and the College of Western Idaho.
It's a perfect fit for Micron. It's a perfect fit for our students. Everything we teach in this program will be applicable out at Micron.
The partnership also creating an apprenticeship program for CWI students. But it's not just college students ready for the workforce that will benefit. The company also planning to invest in rural school districts like Basin School District 72 in Idaho City, where it would make a world of difference.
It would mean providing them with more resources for learning, to more exposure to partnerships and experts who work in those fields in the real world. It would be a huge boon for teachers who are struggling to just provide like basic school supplies.
For rural students to have access to this type of learning, the Biden administration says it's important for the entire country.
And that's going to have a huge impact on the scientists of the future. We want our kids to be learning as much as possible about these critical fields so that we can increase our national security, our economic security, and make sure that we have everyday goods for lower prices.
The details may not be ironed out. The importance of STEM, however, is taking center stage. In Nampa, Jake Garcia, Idaho News 6.
Don Day, founder of our news partner at Boise Dev, has been covering Micron since the mid-90s. He talked with our Roland Barris today and says the deal Micron got from the state is unclear, but at the local level, Ada County won't add much to its tax rolls.
Do know that in Ada County, Micron Technology has a cap on its property tax burden due to 2008 legislation. So they can build $15 billion worth of stuff out there and not pay any more property taxes. If you or I expand our house and put on a new room, we're going to pay additional property tax. Micron doesn't have that.
Day also says Micron will likely need some land to expand its production plant and may have to make a deal with Simplot, which owns most of the land around that campus. We talked with Don Day about a multitude of issues, from Micron's huge water use to how much the community will benefit from $15 billion in investments. You can see the full interview on IdahoNews6.com. Tax relief, the topic at the State House today. That's where lawmakers convened for a special session and voted to use part of the state's $2 billion budget surplus to provide what they're calling inflation relief to Idahoans. Our Nicole Camarda has the details.
The House and Senate gavelled in around 8 a.m. Thursday morning, quickly getting to work to pass one 14-page bill aimed at combating inflation through rebates and reworking the income tax brackets, plus a historic investment in education. Almost immediately after kicking off the special session, lawmakers headed straight to the House Tax and Revenue Committee, where the bill was introduced.
So here we are in a special session. Why a special session? From my point of view, we have a boatload of money that needs to be dealt with appropriately.
The bill, introduced by Representative Stephen Harris, gives one-time tax rebates of $500 million, 10% of tax amounts paid in 2020, or $300 for a single filer. It also consolidates the income tax brackets to a flat 5.8% for both individuals and corporations, and provides $410 million in annual education funding. The House and Senate held a joint committee hearing early in the day, hearing an hour's worth of public testimony.
If approved by you, this education funding will show every educator in our state that what we do is valued and that you share our value of providing a free and equal public education to all students.
The bill was sent to the full House with a do-pass recommendation, but was met with speed bumps as lawmakers tried to pass motions to change the bill. Within the 2 hours on the floor, motions failed, but lawmakers still made their opposition clear and stated the process of crafting this bill is broken.
A properly running legislature should consider any and all options, and there's other ways to tackle this problem besides the one option which we've been presented here.
While others said they don't love every aspect of the bill, they support it.
Idaho values education. We value our children, and it's time for us in this body to honor that and to do better by our schools.
Nicole Camarda, Idaho News 6.
The special session brings lawmakers back to Boise just 3 months before they're scheduled to return for the 2023 legislative session. And if it seems like we've seen a lot of Idaho's part-time legislature lately, it's because we have. Unlike congressional lawmakers, Idaho's state lawmakers serve in a part-time capacity, gathering each January for a legislative session that rarely lasts more than a few months. According to Idaho's state constitution, once a session adjourns for the year, only the governor can call those lawmakers back. And these so-called special sessions are to happen only under extraordinary circumstances. But in recent years, lawmakers have returned often. Governor Little called a special session in August of 2020 amid pressure from lawmakers who wanted more say in how to spend federal relief money during the pandemic. Then, during the 2021 regular session, in an unprecedented move, House lawmakers simply voted to recess without pay instead of officially adjourning. Legislative leaders then called themselves back to Boise in November for 3 days, but failed to pass anything more than a non-binding resolution condemning President Biden's vaccine rules. They then returned a little more than a month later for the 2022 regular session, and now they are back again today for the governor's special session on tax relief, and then they'll be back again in a few months for January's regular session. Lawmakers raised a lot of constitutional questions last year when they opted not to adjourn and then called themselves back to the State House, and the question of whether they do or should have that ability will be put to the voters in November. Lawmakers want to amend the state constitution to give themselves more power, but the change they passed won't take effect unless a simple majority, that's 50% plus one vote, of those voters approve of it this fall.
Top Chief Meteorologist Scott Rovell. Coming up after the break, some new fires burning in central Idaho and northeast Oregon, spreading smoke in our area with big time overnight tonight. I'll let you know when that smoke should clear in my extended forecast coming up next.
Take Idaho News 6 with you. Download the app from your app store. We'll be right back. Meteorologist Scott Dorval with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Well, we've been talking a lot about records this summer, with August being the hottest on record, also having all those 100-degree days, most ever in a summer. We continue to have temperatures close to 100, and we're going to take a look at the forecast here over the weekend. Now, new charts are bringing the temperatures down a little, probably because we've got a little smoke in the air as well. But it's supposed to be about 100 degrees tomorrow, but that's 1 degree shy of a record. 98 on Saturday, 99 on Sunday. That's 1 and 2 degrees shy of a couple of records coming in, but still, we're starting out the month of September with temperatures 15 to 18 degrees above where they should be for this time of year. Stanley, I should say, Seattle, 79 degrees today. Nice weather here. 98 in Boise, 95 in Twin Falls. Still see heat all the way up into Montana, despite the fact we had what's called a cold front come through, but it was really just a breeze pushing on in. And our heat advisory remains in effect. This is through Sunday night now. You see all regions of the valley, mostly 4,000 feet and below. Temperatures upwards to 103 degrees. And so it's through the weekend and then even through Tuesday. So slightly cooler weather went by to the north of this little breeze line right here. That was up in Montana. The heat's been building, though, across the west of Medford, Northern California, baking in 107, 108 in the around Redding and the Northern California Valley, Sacramento hot as well. This heat will start to spread in just a little bit, and it'll stick with us again for the weekend and beyond. So we're tracking fires. There are new fires in northeast Oregon. This one here over Hell's Canyon is producing a lot of smoke, and these are as well. You're getting up northeast of, say, Wallowa Mountain, the Wallowa Lake, I should say, up in the mountains here. There's some smoke and some pretty large fires that are burning, and that smoke is just pushing, as we speak, down to the south and creating a big veil of smoke. Look at this right here. This is what we're talking about. Smoke, some thick smoke coming down, not from the Four Corners fire, but from those new fires to the north. Midnight, we're going to see it start spreading to the south, and overnight, Boise will probably be smokier than it was this morning. So keep that in mind if you're going out to see the balloons go up in the Scott Spencer Spirit of Boise Balloon Classic. The balloons went up this morning, should go up tomorrow without a problem. There'll be some smoke in the air, but it's going to fade away. This is the morning. As we go into the afternoon, smoke starts to lift to the north. Gets a little bit better as we head into the latter part of the day. Still a little smoke around, and central Idaho will even start to clear the smoke out. The air quality, this is a forecast here of potentially hazardous air quality in northeast Oregon, Baker County, and up in portions of Idaho County. Probably moderate air quality at the peak tomorrow morning in the Treasure Valley, and then the air will just clear out, and it should get pretty nice later in the day. So it gets better, but tomorrow is going to be a little rough during the morning. Temperatures in the afternoon, right around 100 degrees for most of the Treasure Valley, some places 98, Kuhn about 98, Boise close to 100 degrees. So hazy sunshine, light wind is likely. Could be 105 in Riggins with some smoke around during the morning especially. And then temperatures for the Long Valley right around 90 degrees. Ketchum looks like it'll be about 85 tomorrow. Pretty nice weather in the East Central Mountains despite the fact we are going to see that smoke around. And a Magic Valley forecast calling for temperatures in the 90s as well. So I do expect the heat. Extended forecast close to 100 tomorrow through the weekend. Through Tuesday near 100, but look at this. Next Thursday, 82 degrees, breezy and sharply cooler this time next week.
We'll be right back. This is Idaho News 6.
A Treasure Valley summer tradition is in full swing. It's the 31st year for the Spirit of Boise Balloon Classic, and hundreds came out to view the spectacle at Ann Morrison Park. Here's an inside look.
I'm Geneva Zoltek here at the Spirit of Boise Balloon Classic, and I'm going to get to go up in a balloon and learn all about how these things work. It's going to be awesome. Before I knew it, we were off in a big apple called the Cosmic Crisp. That feeling when you took your first hot air balloon ride, do you still get that feeling when you go up?
Every flight is, you always get that feeling, just like floating away, but in control of a situation that looks like it's out of control.
The experience in the 90,000 cubic foot balloon is a contradiction. Peaceful, yet nerve-wracking. But it's something pilots like Steve Wilkinson, owner of California-based Fantasy Balloons, makes look easy.
Just go up and down and find those winds, just like a sailor does.
So we're out here sailing the skies.
We are sailing the skies, correct.
Steve said it's good to face your fears. Height isn't something that comes easy to him either.
You can be afraid of heights, afraid of everything, and still go on a hot air balloon and have a great time.
The Spirit of Boise is set to host dozens of crews with pilots over the next few days. Catch the flights in the morning around 7:30 through Sunday. Geneva Zoltek, Idaho News 6.
And don't forget about the night close scheduled for Friday night. Organizers do ask you to leave your pets at home, as dogs don't always appreciate all the loud noises.
Get the latest from Idaho News 6 anytime. We'll be right back. The Allergy Report, brought to you by Boise Valley Asthma and Allergy.
Here's a look at your allergy report today. We're back down to the moderate category. It was high yesterday. It's mostly quinupod, a little bit of sage, and a little bit of ragweed.
Idaho Back Roads, sponsored by Larry Miller Subaru.
A bucket list bike race along a gravel road takes riders through the mountains surrounding Sun Valley. But as our outdoor reporter Steve Dent shows us, Rebecca's Private Idaho is about more than just the ride. It's tonight's Idaho Back Roads.
Well, Challenge Athletes Foundation is making an appearance in Sun Valley for their first time ever, with 20-plus athletes to Rebecca's Private Idaho.
Willie Stewart lost his arm in a construction accident in 1980, but it has never slowed him down as he's kayaked the Grand Canyon. Just last week, he took on the Leadville 100, and this week, he will tackle Rebecca's Private Idaho.
Maybe next week, we'll go out and smoke and fire 400 miles all around the state of Idaho. It all depends if my wife will let me.
Rebecca's Private Idaho features 4 gravel bike races. It starts on Thursday at Galena Lodge with somewhat of a mountain bike course for these road bikers on the Harriman Trail, covering about 50 miles.
Are you a mountain biker? Yeah. It's like the best compliment I could ever get.
Friday, cyclists head out from the Limelight Hotel in stage 2 of the Queens race.
Roll out 30 miles to the base of Dollarhide and straight up to 20% grade.
Saturday features the Be Good ride, and Sunday finishes it off with a potato ride that can either be 102 miles, 56 miles, or 20, capping off an intense 4 days of racing at Rebecca's Private Idaho.
Oh, heck yeah. And RPI is one of the most iconic races in the United States. Of the people with the bucket list and stuff, a lot of those people want to do RPI. And Rebecca, you know, she's the living legend of Sun Valley. So we're excited to have her hang out with the team a little bit. It's a fun weekend too. It's a really social weekend.
Adventure athlete Rebecca Rush is a 7-time world champion. She created this race to be inclusive with a non-binary division.
They want us here, and that is priceless.
The RPI has also featured a paracycling division, and this year the Challenged Athletes Foundation will be there, as this nonprofit continues to help so many adaptive athletes compete in sports.
CAF, I mean, over the years I have arms, I have kayak arms, I have mountain bike arms, triathlon arm, a road bike arm, I mean, you name it. Everything to get back in the game.
Steve Dent, Idaho News 6.
Fans can meet the athletes at an expo on Saturday and Sunday. If you'd like more information, just head to this story on idahonews6.com.
The Idaho News 6 Tower Cam Network is sponsored by Bronco Motors Hyundai.